Hi there, welcome to this listening exercise. What I'd like you to do is watch the video that you'll see in just a second. As the speaker or speakers are talking, try to identify or catch all of those pieces of vocabulary that you'll see on the left hand side. The vocabulary will be presented in order, so if you miss a piece of vocabulary, then please rewind the video and watch it again and listen carefully to make sure that you catch every single piece of vocabulary presented. All of the vocab that you'll see is vocab that you can either use in your exam English for FCE or CAE, or in your careers in terms of business English or legal English. This is wonderful vocabulary. If you don't know what this vocab is, make sure you learn those phrases and use them either in your exams or in your careers. And that's precisely why you'll see that this video is done for both cramtheexam.com and writtenlegalenglish.com. Okay. Go and do that listening exercise and see if you can catch all of those pieces of vocab.
Welcome back to The Next Revolution. At least 26 people killed while worshipping in a Texas church, some 20 injured, and police right now trying to figure out why a former member of the US Air Force opened fire. Here in Los Angeles, I'm joined live by retired LAPD Commander Rick Webb. Commander, thank you very much for being here. I just want to pick up on one aspect of this that I just touched on with the congressman there. The fact that this is such a small town, a tiny community. Their sense of law enforcement is so different from what your experience was at the LAPD. How do you think that affects how they would think about something like this?
Well, I think it's going to be a substantial impact on law enforcement there. I assume that many of the law enforcement people, first responders, possibly even the healthcare providers, live in the community. They're going to know people. They're possibly going to be working with the victims of this that they know, maybe even family members. So it's going to be very, very significant. The parallels between this and, say, the Newtown, Connecticut shooting are uncanny in that there's going to be a substantial amount of recovery that everybody's going to have to go through. 26 funerals. There's going to be hearses lined up and down the streets of that town, and it's going to be, the recovery for these people is going to be very, very difficult. Law enforcement, particularly in smaller agencies, have to have a lot of mutual aid. Hopefully the chiefs of police, you know, they have worked together and know each other and on a first-name basis so that they can go in and relieve each other, because a smaller law enforcement agency really just can't handle something of this size.
So one of the things that I wanted to get your expertise on is something that I've heard people talk about today in the light of a Facebook post that the killer made a few days ago. And the argument has been made, well, is it possible to do more to identify in advance potential atrocities like this by looking at social media? There's so much information out there. I've heard people say the tech firms should do more to try and help us prevent this kind of crime.
Well, I think there's certainly some technological capabilities out there. I'm not very familiar with exactly how they might scrub social media to get that, but the professor talked a little bit about leakage. Very few of these shootings take place without somebody somewhere knowing that this person might act. And there has to be programs in every state so that somebody that knows about this potential attack notifies authorities. I know Colorado has a thing called Safe to Tell, where students can report potential shootings. And so if people have a leakage outlet, you might say, that would be very, very helpful. Unfortunately, when we look at you know, something like Facebook or other social media, the rantings of people are just abhorrent, frankly, and it would be very difficult, I think, to ultimately pinpoint the exact shooter. Certainly looking in the rearview mirror is much easier than looking down the road, but it would be nice if we could do that. I just don't know exactly how we would get that accomplished.
No, I do agree with you. Thank you for putting it like that, because I do think when something so awful happens, we're constantly looking at what could we do, what could have been done to prevent it, what can we do in the future, and the terrible truth is often the answer is nothing. Do appreciate your expertise this evening. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good work. I'm sure you managed to catch all of those pieces of vocab. If you want to try more listening exercises, then come back to the YouTube channels for cramtheexam.com or writtenlegalenglish.com. Exactly the same listening exercises will be put up on both channels, so you can access them from 2 different points. If you want to improve your exam English and do more listening exercises in terms of your FCE or CAE, then go to cramtheexam.com. If you want to improve your business or legal writing, then go along to writtenlegalenglish.com and have a look at the resources we've got there.